I'm going to first time give you a snapshot into me. These, of course, are some pictures of myself. And I started as a coach May 31st of 2008. So I'm 6.5 years in as being an online coach. And at that time, I was working a full-time job as a national promotions director for fitness celebrity Shirley Johnson. She had a fitness company, and I was managing her company and all the 60 presenters that worked for her. And also I had a couple other part-time jobs, teaching group fitness, traveling around, training people. I had a lot of responsibility. And at that time, my husband was actually laid off when I was deciding to become a coach. But I put these pictures up there because it really kind of shows a snapshot into my instability of being an example of fitness all the time. And I share this story because I was a secret yo-yo dieter. Basically, this was something that I didn't want a lot of people to know about me. Well, when I first got started, I was pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant, and I already had a 2-year-old son. So looking at this, it was like, how can I build this as a business when I can't eat any of the nutritional products? Because 6.5 years ago, there wasn't Shakeology. It was very limited. And I was still working out. I was still teaching group fitness, but I didn't understand how I was going to be able to really kind of build and promote this. But then I looked at it on the flip side. I've been helping people be accountable to fitness. I've been motivating them to do something. And I've been cheering people on for a long time, but I've never gotten paid for that. That's just me wanting to help people. So this is why it made sense. And I, first of all, was a person that vowed never, ever, ever to do a home business because I never wanted to get roped in to, stocking inventory or, chasing down my friends or even doing home parties and inviting people to home parties. I never wanted to be a part of that. That was me before deciding to be a coach. But as I said, I looked at this, I was like, gosh, I'm already doing this. I'm really kind of helping people a lot and motivating them to, just do something, start leading more of a healthier life. This makes sense to kind of do this. But as I said, I was a secret yo-yo dieter. So I was a fitness professional, still am, and basically working for a fitness celebrity, there was a lot of pressure to always be at the top of my game physically. And I was a person that didn't have a good handle on my weight. So basically, whenever I would be seen, whenever I'd be going out to California to work with her and her company, because at that time I was living in New York, I would diet down very hard for a month. I would train and diet down really hard to make sure that I was showing up in peak condition. And then when I would leave, it was like, whoo, all bets are off and go back to eating the food I love. And I would balloon up about 15, 20 pounds in between. And you could see that I was, up and down with my weight. And it was not until I really decided to be coaching that I put myself out there more visibly, that I had to kind of keep the yo-yo more under control. So I'm not saying I don't ever yo-yo. I do, but I keep it in a very slim 5-pound game or so just to kind of let myself relax a little bit. But I was burned out. I was burned out professionally. With her company, as much as I loved it, I couldn't grow anymore in it. I honestly quit my medical job to work for her because I just, loved what she stood for in the business, but actually took a $30,000 pay cut to leave medical sales to go work for her. But I was at the top of the company. I couldn't grow anymore in the company with her. And I was getting burned out, and I could realize that doing this, I needed to find a way to be able to impact more people's lives, doing what I loved, and to be able to make more money doing it. And I couldn't give up any more time. I was, as I said, pregnant, and I had a son. And my husband was laid off, and then he finally got a job, and he had to drive an hour to and then from. So he was gone for 10 to 12 hours per day. And I was responsible for making it work. So how can I make it work? Well, what I ended up doing was I fit it in wherever I could. That's basically it. I fit it in whenever the kids were nap time, bedtime. Those were the best times in the world. But I would sometimes give my kids busy work, like for instance, if they were working on a project or put little line signs on TV or just even during like lunchtime. But I ended up eventually putting my kids in childcare 3 days a week. And I wasn't guilty about that because I was still raising my kids. But if I kept them there with me all the time at home, first of all, they were losing socialization and they were learning the ability to be prepped for school because I wasn't doing that with them as I was trying to build the business in the beginning. And additionally, I wasn't giving them my dedicated time. So I wanted to make sure that the time that they were home with me, I was giving them more focus, but I really wanted them to really get ready for school and such. So I put them in childcare 3 days a week as well. But I really kind of focused on always just keeping it on the front of my mind that everywhere I went, there's always opportunity to talk to people, and you never know the conversations that you have with people. So I'm not saying that you have to go out and try to drum up this conversation to talk about coaching, because that would be really weird. What you really want to do is just go out there and have more conversations with more people, because when you do that, then few of those conversations are actually going to surface a lot of things that you have in common, people that you have in common, things that you do that you have in common, and then little did you know that they were looking to do something like this. So those are some things that you always want to consider. But to this day, I do this aggressively on my phone. And the easy part, for instance, is if you have another job or other obligations where you're not able to sit on the computer and be able to kind of, do this in a business sense, you have your phone. You can easily take a break, go to the bathroom. You can easily schedule the moments that you can do a certain amount of activity in those small moments of break that you have. The other thing that I would do was I focused on building a lot of relationships. I went and dug into my past network and following that I had, and really reached out to a lot of those people who were already living a lifestyle like this to see if they wanted to really take it further and make their impact bigger and, of course, their income bigger. But focused heavily on social media. At that time is where I wasn't on Facebook. I actually was banning joining Facebook because I was like, I'm on MySpace. I don't want to build another social media platform. So I didn't join Facebook right away. But I was trying to figure out blogging and YouTube and MySpace at that time. And realistically, really when you get into Facebook, it's not a matter of it's just not for social time. It really can be a huge purpose for building your business. And that's, as I said, predominantly what I do and many of the coaches do. The other thing that I really focused on was focus on improving my skills. There's no way I could be better at trying to impact people's lives if I didn't try to impact my own personally. So realistically, I needed to get better. I needed to work on personal development, seeing a bigger picture for myself and actually realizing that it's possible, understanding the small little steps that need to take place that then will show up later. It's about really feeding yourself the skills that you need to be able to be better all around. Leading, doing presentations, really all the areas that it takes to, when you want to be a person that inspires people to do more, you have to be better in yourself. And there's no way that it can happen one time and be done. You're continually on that journey. But I then focus on living this consistently as a lifestyle. And when I had my baby, I seriously did not want to put my clothes on because they fit so tight. But I said to the world, I put it out there, I'm going to do Chalene Extreme and watch me because I'm going to do this program for the program and I want you to watch this baby weight come on. And there was mornings I did not want to do it. I seriously did not, but I did it because I promised people that I would, and I put it out there that I would, and I followed through. People start to watch that journey. People like to become voyeuristic. They really want to see what's going on in your life. So even, for instance, if you share this business opportunity with someone, they may say no initially. The majority of the people say no initially. I was one of them. I said no way, and then I didn't join for a year later when it was put in front of me again. And it's because people's knee-jerk reaction is no immediately, because they want to just protect themselves initially, and they want to just research a little bit more, or they want to stand back and watch a little bit more, and that's what you have to be okay with. So don't be scared, for instance, if you do put this in front of someone and they're like, no, I don't think this is for me. That's okay, because guess what? You put that seed out there that they're now just put that bug that they're going to start to pay attention, and then usually they come around. So you shouldn't be nervous about sharing this with someone, because it's really about sharing your passion and understanding that living a healthy lifestyle is